Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer series at the Coffee Conversation Show powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Beyond Briefs, a lawyer's journey through IP, ADR, and media law. We have with us Sujoy Mukherji, Principal Associate, Nayak and Company. With nearly a decade of rich experience, including roles at Khaitan, RK Diwan, Sujoy has carved a niche in intellectual property, arbitration, and media law. From raiding counterfeit networks to shaping legal policy for emerging tech platforms, Sujoy's journey is a blend of intellect, intensity, and innovation. We dive into the world of legal battles, media, compliance, and also get a rare glimpse into the man behind the professional, the dancer, the blogger, and the storyteller. So, friends, we are at AWFI's co-working space on a Saturday afternoon. So, welcome, Sujay, to today's coffee conversation. So, it will be interesting. Like we have done on Counterfeit just recently with Arindam Hazarika. He is a senior legal counsel, a brand protection at SanDisk.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He's passionate about brands.
I'm sure. If he's into the counterfeiting aspects of it, obviously.
And he is a certified anti-counterfeit practitioner.
Oh, wonderful. I'd love to have the chance to meet him and interact with him on all his escapades that he's had.
Definitely. I thought that I had a word with him to plan a panel discussion on anti-counterfeit.
Oh, wow.
So you're one of panelists.
That would be
but
fantastic.
We would need more. So he's one. And so watch that episode. You'll get a lot of insight because he's worked at different countries and done superb work.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Yeah, it was a learning from me. He went abroad and did this course.
Oh.
Anti-certified. Anti-counterfeit practitioner.
Wow.
Chalo. So you are getting inspiration to become an anti-counterfeit, so that will add value.
I guess, absolutely.
So this is what coffee speaker see. So my ये रहता है कि भाई दूसरा कॉफी स्पीकर ने क्या किया है एंड दिस कॉफी स्पीकर ये लेवल पे इसको कहाँ जाना है सो दैट आई शेयर कि भाई व्हाट विल हेल्प यू टू go to next level.
Well, thank you so much for that point. I think ये भी एक career रहेगा where I actually move towards.
Yes, yeah. So because every coffee speaker is now part of the coffee tribe, so we take अपना personal interest.
Proud to be part of the tribe. Thank you.
So let me explain you. There will be 3 rounds: professional journey, personal journey, and surprise, the rapid fire, where you will be in the hot seat. So you have to be witty, fun, and quick.
Okay.
And this is Inspiration Legal AI 101, which has been autographed, but you have to win it first.
I see.
So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation, legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal startup, SMEs, world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So my first question, Sujoy, you have had a deep-rooted career in IPR and media law. What first sparked your interest in this domain and how has the journey been?
Well, so the first part of it, I guess, as my CV itself speaks, I originally started off by going into RK Diwan, right? And a few things lined up, a couple of internships in IP firms like iTag, RK Diwan, and that's where the interest basically came from. But even before, perhaps when the law firm culture and everything happened, so I was in HR college in BCom, and I used to work a little bit with film crews and everything, whether it was Wake Up Sid or it was Rockstar. That kind of sparked an interest to see what exactly are the underlying things about IP in it, about media law in it. And when I got a chance with RK Devan, I could see how exactly the basics work around. And of course, RK Devan then transitioned over to Khaitan went over to Nayak, and the rest is history. But yeah, I think it was just my basic journey of films that started off everything with my interest to IP and media law.
That's interesting. Okay, so let's dive deep into the conversation. So you have been involved in some intense IP counterfeit operations. Right. Can you walk us through the legal and logistical aspects of such raids?
Oh, wow. Okay. So you have to think of raids as two things. Mostly everyone will say that it's just one particular proceeding, right? Not necessarily the case. If you're going through the civil route, like in Bombay High Court, I'll give you an example over here. You have to do a lot of your research on your own. You need to find out where exactly the owner of the trademark is, where do they operate from. You need to also conduct research to find out where is the manufacturer and the distributor. This is important because when you go ahead and take an order, after that you are actually asking for the court commissioner and special receivers in case the distributor and retailers are somewhere else in another territory. So once those guys are appointed, then you have to go through the entire jargon process of going to the High Court registry, getting the endorsement letters so that those endorsement letters can be given to the police. Then in coordination with the police and the special receivers, you have to select a particular time. After selecting a particular time, there is the entire process of making sure, scoping the place out, going there, doing the entire process of taking stock, agar kuch milta hai, nahi milta hai, seizing everything, creating those panchnama reports over there under the guidance of the police itself. So that takes a lot of time, but it's a very time sensitive process because, mind you, these raids are ex parte proceedings because of the ex parte orders, because you can't let the other side know that look, I'm coming to do a raid for you. वो सामान उठा के बेच देगा. So because of such a time sensitive situation, everything has to be done within a manner of 1 to 2 weeks, and you need to make sure that your research and everything is there beforehand ready. And this is civil. The criminal side of it, because Delhi has actually set precedents with Sanyo Electricals. How do you go about it? Because when it comes to trademarks, the statute says that you need to take an opinion from the registrar. By the time you go to take an opinion from the registrar may or may not have disclosed it to someone, and then your entire raid goes out for a toss. So what do? You actually file a private complaint, you get an order from the police, FIR is done, and then of course, the same process as I said earlier, making sure that the raid is successful in coordination with the police. So there's a lot of elements which you have to simultaneously handle in raids together, so that there's no leakage of information and the raid is successful.
Wow. So, is there a memorable case where you led this counterfeit operation and it impacted the brand's operations, reputations, and that led to your major boost in your career?
I think I would say it was for a pharmaceutical company. What had happened was that these were vitamin B complex drugs, intravenous injection drugs, and we had a very short time, because what happens is a lot of times these generic drug manufacturers, they are fly by night operators, which means that for a particular season they will make these drugs and they will make it available in the market for about 5 to 6 months, and then they'll run away with it. And another cycle they'll come and do this. So we have a very short period of time, right? The whole process and everything was done, but the issue we had was in Delhi because the police refused to help us. The location is locked. We have no idea how to go about get these infringing goods. We know it's there, but we can't go in. Although we have the order from the High Court saying that you can break open the locks under the guidance of the police and everything, but the police itself is refusing to help us. So we were in such a dire situation that immediately the same day itself, we took a call, let's go and mention it before the court. We took the names of the officers and we informed the court that, look, as per the order of the Honorable Court, we were supposed to conduct these operations. We're not being able to do this. We have a very small period of time because these goods also have a shelf life. And we need an immediate relief of sorts. So the court immediately stepped in, and this is Bombay High Court. And directions were passed against the specific police officers to ensure and help us that these goods were actually seized. And the value of these goods was quite high. So by the time we got the entire seizure done and the entire matter was brought forth before the court, the ultimate consequence was that the infringers decided to come down to the table. And of course, through commercial negotiations, it was ultimately decided. But that was a very good experience about how things can go wrong, how do you remedy it on a real-time basis, and of course, the ultimate benefit that was brought forth to the clients as well. So
Beautiful.
that was one of the best ones.
So, Sujoy, what's your thought process while you're preparing for high stake hearings, especially those involving high stakes IP infringements?
So right now I practice largely in TMT law, right? And what happens a lot of times you will see is that, at least with us, a film is about to be released and then suddenly someone will come last minute, 2 to 3 days before the release of either the movie or the web series or something of sorts. The claim will usually be that my film's story has been copied, or it's an unlawful adaptation. Some writer will come and say that my script was stolen from the SWA records. Now, for a plaintiff to make their claim and file it before the court and then come to the court, seek a circulation, they have the luxury of time. As a TMT attorney on the defense side, you are left with 1 to 2 days to prepare. So what that does is everything is on an overdrive. You have to coordinate with the clients, get all the information out, and then you have to build a case that how there is delay and latches, how this particular person, in spite of being in the trade, they have not taken the required course of action, and multiple other arguments to say that there are third-party stakeholders as well whose rights will end up getting infringed. So all these facets have to be considered. You already have a template in your mind from the first moment the suit comes, but it's just the entire process of getting and collating all the information, getting your replies ready, going to court on the day of the argument, and to bring all of those facets out. So in terms of the process, I would say it's completely 100% Shatabdi Express.
Wow. So, what do you suggest to, because now OTT and other mediums giving this content creators a boost to their careers, and regional creators and now cross collaboration creators are coming up. So what should be done before by this kind of situation doesn't arise when a film or a something is being released on OTT platform? They have to go through this last minute of
Last minute
protection. Then you also know Shatabdi train to get them, like this must have happened in the case of Ye Maharaj and other films also. So with your experience, what suggestion would you give them?
So different category of segments of people have different type of suggestions, according to me. If you are a writer or someone who has already made a content and you feel that something is being copied, last minute litigations, 11th hour litigations, what we call it, another word is nth hour litigation. 98% of the time, and I give this by my own figure, it's not successful unless you can show that there is a proper access of some sort. Because most of the time the court will say that there is money involved. You have spent money to make a film. There are third-party stakeholders to have that film, make it available in theaters, OTTs, YouTube, whatever platforms. People are going to earn money out of it. There are livelihoods at stake. We are not going to stop this. And of course, for very valid reasons. So if you are thinking of bringing some sort of an action, thinking that just because if I put it at the nth hour, and I can probably arm twist the producers or the distributors that, oh, okay, your film is going to get stopped, so come and do a deal with me. That's not going to work, because there are enough legal precedents to say that this kind of an action is not something which we are going to entertain. You sat on your rights. If you are working in this industry, you should know about what is happening, what is not. The responsibility is on you. So that goes insofar as the writers and all are concerned. But if you also ask me, what about these content creators and everyone? I think there is a film, I'm not with the up to date with the latest films, but I think it was Houseful 5, in which there is a Lal Pari song. And in that Lal Pari song, there is a dance sequence where Akshay Kumar and everyone, they wear a red hat and they're moving their head like a bobblehead. And that dance is a bit iconic because there is an Instagram influencer called Baba Michael Jackson. And he has the similar kind of dance steps and everything. I might be getting the name wrong, but the point is, these kind of influencers, if they claim that their hook steps or perhaps their signatures are ending up in films without any kind of credit or something afforded to them, the usual course of action is, once you've identified it, you need to approach through the proper channels. You don't just go out there and put out a statement in the public, put out a video, because what that does is now it makes you liable. करना कुछ था, हो कुछ और गया, because now the film producer can end up suing you for defamation or misrepresentation. You go through the legal channels of sending a notice, raise your claim, ask for a meeting if that is something that you want to do. There are multiple courses of actions, but these kind of due diligence process needs to be done beforehand, be it a writer or be it a content influencer.
That's beautiful. Okay. Let's go to next question. You have advised gaming platforms on legal strategy. What are the biggest legal challenges that digital gaming companies face in India today?
Oh wow. I think the most biggest challenge that ends up coming is after the game has been developed and it has been released already. Now suddenly the game developers will come up and say that okay, the game is already available, or that the content is already out there, people are already using it, but we need terms and conditions to protect us. Now from an IT perspective, these terms and conditions be in consonance with IPR, information technology, and DPDP, which has just come up. It has to be in plain harmony. You need to make sure that all the policies are already out there, but it doesn't happen. So that is challenge number one. Challenge number two is that when the IP itself is created, the game, because it's an IP at the end of the day, if it happens to have any element that could probably raise a claim from a third party, these are checks which should have been done beforehand. It could be anything, any artistic component, any trademark, any form of expression. Although expression itself, it needs to be largely there, it needs to be comparable, but all these facets, these checks, these due diligence requires to be done beforehand with the legal, which generally doesn't tend to happen. So the final product, once it goes out, then the entire, it's like आई थिंक गाड़ी रास्ते पे है एंड आप ढूंढ रहे हो कि इंश्योरेंस कहाँ पे है. It's like that. So yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge when it comes to gaming companies in that sense.
Wow, interesting. So at Nayak and Nayak company, how do you approach arbitration matters for state agencies versus private clients?
Oh, okay. Well, when it comes to state agencies, of course, those kind of arbitrations are a little bit different in the sense because you have to be aware of the entire structure and the requirements as such, the documentations and everything. So it involves a lot of in-depth search for information, I guess you can call it that, because when it comes to a private based entity, it's very easy to coordinate with them and get their entire information, because usually with private entities it's going to be a commercial dispute, a one pointed area dispute. In that sense, everything is structured according to the agreement. If there happens to be a dispute within what was the end goal or what are the claims, that's where it always stays. But when it comes to state agencies, or if we are working for say municipal corporations, when those kind of arbitrations end up happening, there are a lot of factors surrounding the commercial understandings as well, and that tends to make it a little bit more challenging, because we not just have to make sure that the end goal is met in the arbitration, but particular interests of the client as well are also maintained in future ongoing matters as well.
Wow, beautiful. So, Sujoy, you have drafted policies for data privacy and advice on compliance. How do you see India evolving post the Digital Personal Data Protection Act?
In my personal opinion, I think it's a very good move, a little late, but nonetheless much needed, because up until the DP Act came into effect, we were largely relying upon the information technology and taking inferences from case laws to say that personal information, be it through Aadhaar, be it through PAN card, if you have a user account, if you have financial information, how long does the server maintain it? How long is the information supposed to be with the website holder or within the server itself? Now, with the Digital Privacy Protection Act coming into effect, we actually have answers to that, that there is supposed to be a set duration of time. Upon request, information needs to be deleted. User preference is given more, because at the end of the day, this is private information. So it's kind of, we're trying to go down the route of EU GDPR, where it's basically saying that a user preference has to be given primary importance. So in that sense, it is very much on the way of maintaining right of privacy with the Information Technology Act.
Wow, beautiful. So, Sujoy, let's come to your next work here about legal writing and blogging. How important is legal writing and blogging to your practice, and what topics do you enjoy most writing about?
So legal blogging, well, before even legal blogging happened, I think it was generally just blogging, which used to happen with me in the platform called Quora. I would answer questions over there. People would raise legal queries oftentimes. This was when I was a law student. So it was always fun to resolve these queries through a written answer. Of course, now with AI and ChatGPT coming, it's very easy for anyone to get an answer, much more easier than compared to typing it out in Google. But this form of blogging, structuring answers, giving an explanation to specific queries, it actually helps you, because when the time comes to pleading it in any kind of suit or a written statement or an affidavit reply, you have a clarity of thought. You know what to say, how exactly to structure your arguments, which can then get supported whether when you have to argue it in court. So certainly when it comes to blogging, it has its own benefit. And so far as legal blogging is concerned, because after any particular landmark judgment or any case that has actually gotten the limelight through legal blogs and everything, it's actually dissemination of information. You're not just letting the information out to your colleagues in the fraternity itself, but at the same point in time, clients who may or may not be facing similar situations, they get answers to a lot of their queries through you. And your explanations, the way it is written down, the flow of the entire articles itself, that can actually bring out a lot of information out there to one and all who's actually connected.
Ah, beautiful. So, Sujay, who has influenced you or has been a mentor from the world of IP TMT laws?
Okay, well, there are two answers actually, because IP being different and TMT being a little
TMT
different.
and ADR also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Handling three.
So when it comes to IP, of course, I've met him very later on a little bit in life, but the one who actually got me through into the field of IPR and actually structured my entire way of thinking was Dr. Mohan Devan. He was my first boss, and learning with him and basically understanding the cores of IP and the principles, how it works. It was a very impactful journey because Dr. Mohan Devan has a very set way of thinking. He will not tolerate a comma or a full stop anywhere. And he's a very strong endorser of having blogs. So we would be constantly grilled on writing blogs and articles on latest developments of law every weekend. And that kind of structured my principle. But with Dr. Mohan Devan, because anyone who's actually come into the field of IPR, you will always get introduced to the judgments of Mr. Praveen Anand. And Mr. Praveen Anand is the star of the field, let's be honest. So now with time, having gotten to meet him and having gotten to interact with him, brief him even on a lot of occasions. So these two figures, when it comes to IP, were my inspirations. But insofar as TMT is concerned, when that progression ended up happening, going from IPR to TMT law and dealing with all these high stake profile matters, primarily, of course, my current managing partner, Mr. Amit Naik, because he was actually the first one. He is the first one, because there was first mover advantage. The film industry up until the early 2000s was all operating in 5-pager contracts, 10-pager contracts. And there wasn't a very good understanding about how law had an impact in the field of media and entertainment. When Naik came into the picture, and with Amit Naik's understanding of how the field itself, how the industry itself needs to get evolved, how it needs to have a certain set of structure, it caused a rapid shift. Because now you have contracts going from not just artist, but cast and crew. You have NFT deals, third-party deals, OTT now coming into effect. Theatrical was always there, satellite, digital. So all these things, the understanding with which now we have, and now, of course, with Mr. Amitabh Bachchan's personality rights judgment, which has come out, the law is just keep on getting evolved. And I think with the understanding, and now more and more attorneys coming into this space, everyone is setting the precedent. But in terms of inspiration, I think with these two fields, it would, like I said, Mr. Mohan Devan and Mr. Praveen Anand, when it comes to straitjacket IP, and when it comes to TMT, Mr. Amit Naik's first mover advantage has definitely played a role insofar as my career is concerned.
Wow. So my last question for your professional journey round.
Right.
What advice would you give to legal professionals looking to specialize in niche areas of ये IP and TMT?
Well, so anyone out there who is actually going into a very niche field, you need to understand a couple of things. Because it's a niche field, yes, opportunities might be less because it's a very closed circuit area. But you need to really put yourself down and focus into that. It's a very generic advice, yes, but the point of it is that if you keep on at it, you will make a breakthrough, be it through a firm, be it through a council. And once you're actually in it, others might actually come to tell you that, all right, you're picking a niche practice, this isn't the right way. You need to actually expand yourself, do other areas, do criminal, do real estate, this, that. They may be right, but they could also be wrong. You really need to pick the field for yourself, because if it's your interest and if it's an area where you want to specialize yourself, you really cannot afford a third person to give you any advice which is contrary to what you want to do. So but it has its own challenges, it has its own merits. It's a very dynamic field because IP and media keep on changing every now and then. What was probably yesterday considered acceptable in terms of arguments, be it nth hour litigation or be it a straitjacket forward confusion matter in trademarks, then reverse confusion comes in. So principles are always changing. And that's the beauty of IP and TMT. They are always evolving. There are new arguments always to be brought forth. And in an IP field, it's not just the Indian law, but we are always influenced by UK law or American law, because their understanding of IPR and TMT sectors is so much more vast right now.
Wow. So let's go to the next round and understand Sujoy as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
So I come from a defense family. From my great-grandfather, who was serving in the Royal British Army at that point in time. My grandfather was also in the army. My father was in the Indian Navy. He retired in 2018 as captain. My uncle was in the Air Force, short service commission. So with that said, I think there was a little bit of a structure and a little expectation as well that you will also end up going into the armed forces. That try was definitely done, because by the time I finished my BCom at HR college, the next question was, what do you do? Where do you go now? Obvious answer was, I go and give my CDS exam. Cleared that, went into SSB for going in as a short service commission officer. The entire process later, because luckily I managed to scrape through the first round. फिर उसके बाद एक हफ्ते का SSB होता है. Managed to get to the last stage, but then got screened out. Now when that happens, suddenly I'm the black sheep of the entire family. Everyone, cousins, uncles, everyone is in the armed forces. I'm not. Now the question was, where do I go? And law also, to be honest, ended up by an accident in that sense. But it is my personal belief that what I have right now in terms of my career in law, it has been through the discipline, through the grit that my family has actually instilled in me. And actually more than my father's side of the family, it's my mother. Because my mom has actually stayed true with me in terms of my formative years, because while growing up, I had a learning disability. And despite all the constant transfers, because when you're in a defense family, you move around.
Yes.
Every 2-3 years,
Yes.
you are moving to another place, you are losing out on friends, you have very little time to adjust yourself. But my mother was clearly the rock for us, between my father and me, and to make sure that the peace of the house was maintained. And somehow I was able to actually get here to this entire point in my career. So I think with my parents and my mother, of course, she used to work at Oberoi at the shopping arcade area. She was a manager at one of the stores over there. So yeah, I think my parents are primarily the reason to be contributed to everything right now.
Wow. So, Suja, my next question. There is this Army Institute of Law. Why didn't you go to that college and went to ILS Law College? And what were your memories and experience? And how did it help in shaping your career?
Why didn't I go into the Army Institute? That's a very good question. Even I don't have an answer to that, to be honest.
Because my two coffee speakers, they're also from Army background.
Right.
And I'm planning to do a fireside chat between defense background children.
Huh. Oh, okay.
Nishant Tiwari is there, then Jaswinder Singh Shekhawat, then Bhavna Joshi.
Right.
Then you are there.
Right. That would be an interesting conversation.
हाँ कि भाई how did being part of a defense background family
हाँ.
helped where you have reached?
Or you're going to get a little bit of complaining from all the defense kids that how difficult it was with all the discipline and all the requirements to go when it came to all these social functions and everything. But coming back to your question, the Army Institute, well, I'll be very honest with you. When, like I said, BCom ended up happening and getting rejected from the Indian Army, the choice was very simple. Law is there. Someone suggested I'm good in English. So I was like, okay, ठीक है, झोला उठा के चल पड़ते हैं law करने के लिए. Plan नहीं था. But I went on the basis of marks and what was the requirement. Yes, Army Institute was there. But ILS and GLC were ranked above that. So the idea was, all right, my score is there. Let's go and try GLC. GLC never ended up happening. They were like, sorry, our seats are full. But somehow ILS ended up happening. And if I look back at it now, because back then I was not very happy about going to ILS. My parents were still stationed in Mumbai. I have to go and live in Pune. Why should I leave the comfort of my own home? And I was cribbing a lot back then that I don't want to do this. I don't want to live in another city where the language will also be a problem. What I'm living on my own for the very first time. But like I said, if I look back at it now, those 3 years living in ILS, the first year in the hostel and the next 2 years taking a rented accommodation, it really structured my life going forward. It wasn't just the law school. It was the law school internship, living on your own, trying to manage your life, the friends I made, the moot courts that ended up happening, all of that combined together, and the ultimate, which was the PPO that happened at RK Dewan. It really gave a beautiful journey now when I look back at it in that sense.
Wow, beautiful. So I'm a little curious. What made you be an intern at Dharma Productions?
Greed. I needed the money. No. I'll let me put it this way. So in HR college, right, we have all these clubs. It's GEMS, Rotaract, and all these things. So oftentimes what happens is HR college has a history of having a lot of star kids over there at times. HR, Jai Hind, Xavier's. So they tend to have a lot of your business family background kids and as well as star kids coming up over there. Now, when these star kids and everyone else, all these events keep on happening, sometimes some film crews want to come and do a film shoot in your college location. And they ask that students can also be part of it. So it was, the first film was Wake Up Sid. The shooting happened over there where Ranbir Kapoor actually gets the bad news in the film that he's failed his exam. I'm right there behind in the crowd of kids trying to push through and see the board, ki marks kitna hua and everything. Now, during that course of time, I ended up being friends with a couple of the ADs, the assistant directors, and requested that, is there some way that I could do an internship or probably be part of the marketing crew. That conversation ended up through someone giving me a referral. I went there and I was actually allowed to be part of a couple of their projects in that sense. Like I said, the Rockstar marketing team, I got to be a part of it. Wake Up Sid, though I was part of the film. After the film got released, I was also part of the marketing team. So those courses of time and that entire exposure, that actually just happened because of HR college and the way it was positioned at that point in time and even now in that sense.
Wow. So from being an intern at one of the prestigious productions, Dharma Productions, you went to dancing. You you had a good time being a dance instructor at Freak and Style.
Right.
So what what do you say, inspired you to become a dance instructor, and how was the experience?
So I know it doesn't look like it that I could be a dancer right now if you look at me. But imagine me at 18 years of age. So at that point in time, I think a lot of things were changing because Malhar was happening at Xavier's, which was the epitome of inter-college events. There was waves and all these things. And being in a defense family, you are encouraged. Go do sports. Go into extracurricular activities. My father is a huge proponent of that because he used to be a Ranji cricket player himself. So he was like, do something, do sports or do some dance or something like that.
अच्छा.
And Freakin' Styles just happened also by accident because तब एक शो आया करता था स्टार वन पे. Basically people used to be called अपना talent दिखाने के लिए. I saw Freakin' Styles on the TV one day, and Gautam, who was the leader of that troupe at that point in time, all these people were performing, Gautam, Ambreen, and all these guys. I found them on YouTube, and me and a friend of mine, Sanchit, we actually ended up going to their classes. We were a student for about 2 years. Somehow our skills improved. Now, when I think back at it and we see our old videos, we're like, we were so horrible. There are videos where it would be cringe content to the next level. But at that point in time, we were apparently okay, to the extent that Freakin' Styles was good enough to actually expand and have us as instructors. Now, that actually also was one of the reasons that contributed to me getting into the marketing internships with Dharma, because if they ever had any these promotional events right before the film, they would always invite these dancers and everything. So I'd be part of those troops. And that actually, in that sense, not just in terms of extracurricular activities, but it also gave shape to the way how you could say my introduction to the world of media ended up happening.
Very true. So, Sujay, how do you manage stress outside the courtrooms? Any hobbies or rituals that help you unwind?
So I think the first hobby is playing a lot of video games. I love playing Call of Duty because that, for me personally, it gives me a sense of peace and calm right after the work is done. If it's been a stressful day, getting to shoot something on the screen, although some would say that that's a very violent interest to have, but to as long as it's virtually, I think everything is perfectly fine. But apart from that, the second most interesting thing that I do in order to unwind and in order to let go of that mental frustration or whatever you might want to call it is football. Because that's one sport that has always been around with me through my growing up years, be it school football or be it college football. Now, even as lawyers, we have so many football tournaments, be it the Badia Gandhi Cup. We just finished a football tournament called Bar and Ball League, and my team, which was owned by Ujjwal Trivedi, called the Juris Titans, we thankfully won it, the first champion. So I'm pretty stoked and psyched right about that. So yeah, I think those are my areas. And of course, if you take the physical activity away, it's reading books, and fictional books, mind you, because every day you are reading briefs, you are reading case laws. You can sit and read, everyone might tell you read financial books or read historical books. But my take is, why do I want to do that? Why would I not want to unwind by reading some fictional book that has a story that transports me into a different reality?
Yes. So, which is that a favorite fiction book which you can reread again and again?
Harry Potter. I mean, need I say more? It's yes, it's a very simple book. It's a very simple story. Films have been made. Now we are at the stage of getting a web series, which everyone is excited about. But it's magical in that sense. The story of a boy trying to navigate his life, trying to come to adulthood while someone is trying to kill him. It has everything in terms of emotion, drama, and a little bit of fun into it. So yeah, I mean, Harry Potter is that one book which I can always go back to and reread again and again.
Wow. Okay. So my last two questions are reflective. What are your plans for 2025 personally and professionally?
Personally, well, right now at this point in time, so I'm, as you know, I am with Nayak, and I'm a principal associate dealing with that team. And I think on a personal level, I think it's going to be, without disclosing too much, it's going to be interesting because, well, parents are going to be moving in, and I hope that something exciting is going to come up, which without, I don't want to give the details, but in that sense.
Okay,
But
we look forward.
yeah, you'll be the first one to know.
Okay, thank you.
And professionally, of course, there's a lot of stuff to happen because
Good.
with artificial intelligence and everything coming in, personality rights getting new and more robust judgments. Now with Delhi High Court coming up with a concept called superlative injunction. There are new and more developments coming now and again, and to see how everything is going to apply, deep fake videos. I mean, a lot of people went through difficulties. Rashmika Mandana with her video, Anil Kapoor, and a lot of other celebrities. Now the government is actually taking an active interest to set up a committee to find out how can we stop these deep fake videos, how can we stop and probably initiate action against the makers of these deep fake videos. Will it be the software, or will it be the person who has actually inserted the prompts and the command to make these deep fake videos? So as a disputes attorney, I'm actually looking forward to these kind of actions, because as a disputes attorney, you want to set the precedent. You want to actually highlight the negatives of your domain and bring it forth before the court, because then it will be very interesting to see what kind of judgments come out, how the law develops, what kind of ramifications it will have. So on a professional front, I think we have a lot to look up for, not just for myself, but for the entire field insofar as IPR, ADR or TMT is concerned.
Wow, beautiful. So last one is googly one. Describe Sujoy in one line.
Describe Sujoy in one line. Okay. From the outside, looking lazy, but from the inside, very chaotic.
Wow. So let's put you in the hot seat, the rapid fire round. Your go-to comfort food.
Oh, chili chicken.
Your favorite color.
Blue.
Law or dance if you had to choose for a day.
Dance.
Copyright or trademark, more thrilling to fight over.
Copyright. Absolutely.
Most overrated legal myth.
That you need to be very articulate in the courtroom. The judge is very smart. You don't have to have everything ready. You don't need to have all the words ready. The judge is smart. He or she knows what they are required to do.
One word your friends would use to describe you.
That's a doozy. Yeah, I'll go with lazy.
Okay. Your dream travel place.
Italy.
Best piece of advice received.
Just don't stop learning.
Favorite Bengali sweet.
Baked rasgulla.
Your favorite dancer.
Favorite dancer. Michael Jackson. For sure, Michael Jackson.
Your favorite football player.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Favorite football club.
Manchester United.
Tea or coffee to recharge.
Coffee. Black coffee.
Black.
Cheers.
So you did well, and here's your book.
Oh, thank you so much.
As you'll be going deep into AI, so this will help you, and it has been autographed.
Oh.
So friends, it was a lovely conversation with Sujoy Mukherji, coming from defense background parents, father, grandparents, it's a legacy. But he's carved a niche for himself in the world of IP, TMT, and now with AI deepfakes happening. So he wants to take up the career, set precedents, do his research work. So subscribe to the Coffee Corner Show, where there are 550 plus coffee speakers who have shared their professional, personal journeys and taken us through the inspiring conversations. So look forward. There will be a lot of fireside chat, panel discussions with Apna Sujoy. Because one more thing I just wanted to share with you, with your football players, especially the lawyers.
Right.
What made them go become a football player and continue this passion of apna still participating in apna competitions? So that with full team.
Right.
So like this, I did with coffee with apna Shubham Malhotra. He has got this apna pickleball Premier League for lawyers.
Right.
There is another a female from Cyril or something who also organizes pickleball for women lawyers.
Right. Oh, that's wonderful.
It
is a sport that's picking up actually.
Yeah. I've got a couple of coffee speakers who are into pickleball. Some are into paragliding.
Right.
Some are into different passions. So one of the coffee speakers, he was a football coach.
Oh, wow.
He's into he's a OTT specialist.
Really?
From marketing.
Okay.
And he was earlier at ये सोनी लिव,
Okay.
and now he's a consultant and अपना ये chief operating officer, and he's also Mumbai based.
Oh, wonderful. Athletes do make very interesting people.
Yeah, his name is Pep. So, if you want to be featured like ये Sujoy and get the opportunity to get featured in person, because we have got very few limited slots for in person, only ये privileged ones get. Otherwise, we are on Zoom. We have gone international. We have done panel discussions, special episodes, a lot of excited things. Keep happening at the Coffee Conversation Show. Once a speaker he gets featured, then he is for eternity a Coffee Tribe community member. So welcome, Sujay.
Thank you so much.
So we keep continuing conversation. We meet with another coffee speaker on Monday, continuing conversations over a cup of coffee. So thank you. Take care. Enjoy your Sunday.